All right, let's talk about a secret code. It's one that's hiding in plain sight, right at the end of thousands of words we use every single day. Yep, we're talking about suffixes. And believe me, this is way more than just a grammar lesson. This is about unlocking a hidden power that can totally change the way you read and write.
I mean, think about that for a second. What if just by tweaking the end of a word, you could turn an action into a person, or mark the change from being a kid to an adult? It sounds kind of like magic, but it's not. It's a system, and today we're going to crack it wide open.
So let's get right into it. What exactly are these powerful little endings, and how on earth do they work?
Okay, so here's the official breakdown. A suffix is just a letter or a group of letters that we tack onto the end of a main word, what we call a root word. It seems like such a small thing, right? But the effect it can have is massive. It can completely change what a word does in a sentence, or even give it a whole new meaning.
And this is exactly why it's so important. This isn't about memorizing rules for a test. It's a toolkit for language. When you really get suffixes, you can start decoding huge, complex words you've never seen before. You build your vocabulary without even trying. Honestly, it's a communication superpower.
Now here it is. This is the core secret of the suffix code. It turns out that every single suffix out there does one of two things, and that's it. It either shifts a word's function, or it shifts its entire identity. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got inflectional suffixes. Think of these as minor adjustments. You take the word walk, add ed, and you get walked. The core idea of walking is still there, you just change the tense. But on the other side, you have derivative suffixes. These are total game changers. You take hope, add less, and you create a brand new word, hopeless, with a completely different meaning.
And it all comes down to that. That's the big aha moment. Is this little ending just making a small grammatical tweak, or is it building a totally new word? Once you get that distinction, everything else just clicks into place.
Okay, enough with the theory. Let's get our hands dirty with a quick toolkit to see how this actually plays out in the real world. We're going to look at a few common suffixes and see this whole function versus identity thing in action. So check this out. The first two examples, walked and cats, those are just functional changes, right? Tense and number. The main idea is still totally there. But then look at teach becoming teacher. That's a huge shift from an action to a person, or joy becoming joyful, and emotion becoming a quality. You see, the very identity of the word has been transformed.
Now, of course, no code is perfect. There are always some tricky little rules. But I don't want you to think of these as boring grammar. Think of them as the advanced techniques, the pro moves that will make you a true master of this system.
These might look a little random at first, but there's a real pattern to them. For example, we drop that silent E before adding ing to keep the vowel sound right, or we double the consonant in a word like run to make running, and that actually protects the short vowel sound. Once you see the why behind the rules, they're so much easier to remember. So we've seen what suffixes are and how they work, but now we get to the most important part, the real-world impact. Why does mastering this code actually matter? Well, it's probably bigger than you think.
Seriously, why have we been going through all this? What is the ultimate payoff for understanding how these little word endings work?
70%. Let that sink in for a second. That's how much you can potentially slash your spelling errors just by understanding the rules for adding suffixes. It's a staggering number, and it really shows you the practical power of this knowledge.
So you see, this is so much more than a classroom trick. It is a fundamental key to being confident and powerful with language. Mastering suffixes makes you a better speller, a more intuitive reader, and someone who can break down big words in a heartbeat.
And I really want to leave you with this last thought. Suffixes do more than just change words on a page. They show us something pretty profound, that endings aren't just about stopping. They're points of transformation. They're where something new begins, capable of creating entirely new identities and new possibilities. What a powerful idea, right? All hidden at the end of a word.